about IITs, and there were five to begin with, which were founded soon after India got the independence. First one being started at IIT at Kharagpur in the name of IIT Kharagpur, and subsequently the ones at Kanpur, Madras, and other places followed. There were five, and the government decided at one particular point that this should be expanded and every state should have one. And today we have now 23 IITs. A similar thought dawned in the minds of basically the science administrators. I'm told that this basically idea originated from Professor C.N.R. Rao, who felt that ISIS, IISCs, there's only one IISc even today in the country, the most premier institution at IIS at Bangalore. In fact, I'm a fortunate beneficiary of this, and I'm an alumnus of this institute, IISc, where I did my PhD. And this was towards the beginning of this century. And of course, his efforts culminated into the government being sort of triggered to think about this. And then by 2006, the creation of two new institutes was announced. And that's how the first ones at IISER Pune and IISER Kolkata were started. Subsequently, one more was added, that was in Mohali in 2007. And come to 2008, two more institutions were announced. These are meant to basically kind of an equivalent of IISc, but not to kind of tarnish the image that IISc has built for itself and to safeguard the image that it has basically kind of created over decades and decades. They said that we should not have the same name, but they added education and research. And that is how our institutions, the brand new institutions, are called Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research. Later, in 2015 and 2016, two more were started, 2014 and 2016, I forget the year. One at Tirupati and the other one at IISER Berhampur. And today we have 7 IISERs in the country spread across. These are meant to take care of basically the local poor and to ensure that the practice of science and the education in science is nurtured in different parts of the country. That's about IISERs. Our own IISER was created in 2008, as I mentioned, along with IISER Bhopal. Of course, it's very difficult to build an institution of the kind that you see today. Even to acquire the land was an ordeal, and it took quite a bit of time. This was absolutely a jungle, and away from the city, about 45 kilometers away from the city, this place was allocated for this particular institution. And the first director, who's also, fortunately, is a chemist. I'm sure many of you are aware. I'm sure Professor Rinaldo Poli knows him. Professor Gemmes, who began his career, who was a very well-known scientist, theoretical scientist, from Central University, who moved a few years back to IISc, where he continues to be a professor at, was the founding director of this institution. Up until 2014, he sowed the seeds, laid the foundation stones, and brought up some structures. And subsequently, Professor Ramakrishnan from Madurai Kamaraj University was appointed. And he moved. Until then, the operations continued in the City College of Engineering in Trivandrum. And by 2018, all the operations were moved into the campus with some structures built. And in 2019, I was appointed. So it has been about 5 years since I took over this institution as the director. So I think it's been an ordeal, a hard effort to sort of bring up a living ecosystem that you see today in this particular place. So let me fast forward. That's about IISER Thiruvananthapuram. As I'm sure all of you agree, Kerala itself is regarded as God's own land. And I would say, our institution is in the lap of basically the beautiful Western Ghats. And I think some visitors have already been to what is called as a Ponmudi here. And if you get to the crest of hills, and you get to witness the kind of panoramic, the stretch of hills which are breathtaking, that you get to witness, you get to see. So our campus is at the feet of this Western Ghats in a beautiful landscape, and I'm sure all of you agree. It's located in one of the prettiest places, beautiful places. And we have been trying to sort of merge some little modernity with the natural landscape that we have to sort of make this institution one of the prettiest in the country. I think several of my colleagues have been relentlessly contributing to this effort to sort of make our institution one of the best amongst the IISERs. So here we are today. I think, as you see, even the audio video systems are still being set up. The process that was started about a year back, unfortunately, we don't have this today, but in about 15 or 20 days from now, I think we should have everything here. But otherwise, this is a makeshift arrangement. Let me speak of the topic of today's